The ugly phase is real, but it's not what we think it is. If we're being honest, there has been a certain time during the process of locking your hair that you hated what your hair was doing, you hated what it looked like, and the thought of even going ahead with it was kind of something you had to push yourself through. And I know some of us, probably a small handful of people, had absolutely no issues at all with their locks. It was love at first sight. Certainly that wasn't the case for me, because I certainly had days when I woke up, looked at it, and I was like, did I make the right choice for myself? Even if those moments only lasted for about a minute, the truth is they did happen a few times. Now, what exactly is the ugly phase? We think the ugly phase has something to do with the appearance of the locks or our hair being locked in itself. I find that's not quite true. The ugly phase is actually us facing the reality of what our hair is like when it's untouched, when it's unmanipulated, when it's not necessarily told what to do. You see your hair in its rawest state, its rawest form, and you let it behave the way it loves to behave. And I think the shock of realizing what our hair is capable of doing is what a lot of us interpret as the ugly phase. And why the ugly part of the phase? Like, why is it ugly phase? It's called the ugly truth. The ugly truth about the fact that you've been hiding your natural beauty, your natural state of being for so long that finally looking it in the mirror, it is awkward, it is unfamiliar. You're not used to seeing yourself like that. Hence why we define it as ugly phase. You know the saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder? You've probably I'll say that again. You've probably been black and dark. We have been so used to seeing ourselves a certain way. Slick hair, braided slick hair, extensions, weaves, glossy, shiny, more slick. That's what we've been seeing year after year. These are the images that we have grown accustomed to. We're used to seeing ourselves like that. There has to be weaves or extensions or braids. When you're used to seeing yourself like this day in, day out, and you see that around you, it's the status quo. Your brain registers that as the norm, the expected. That's what I should see. And then one day you decide you want to have this on your head and you put it in, and then over a short period of time, your hair has the opportunity to do what it loves to do. It loves to be free. It loves to be tangled. It loves to be wild. And suddenly it starts to show you its true nature and what it's capable of doing, and then you're shocked. That shock is what people call the ugly phase. And like I said before, it's just the ugly realization that you are not used to seeing yourself as you truly are. The reason why I would say I never really went through that much of a shock, remember, I had my natural hair for about 10 years before I finally decided to come into locking my hair. So I got quite a time actually to get accustomed to the texture of my hair and the look of it. I would say the first shocker for me was coming from a permed lifestyle to suddenly having to deal with something that looks like this. In comparison, it looks dull. It lacked that sheen and shininess that relaxed hair offers. And sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to. And having practiced loving and embracing my hair in its natural state for about 10 years, I think that made the transitioning into locking my hair a lot easier. I've always been the person that whatever hairstyle I wore, it had to be no shorter than shoulder length, but preferably mid-back length. That is my go-to length of hair, and that's the way I like to envision myself when it comes to what makes me beautiful. I am doing the opposite of my definition of my beauty. I finally had to confront that and tell myself it's not because the locks are ugly. It's because I haven't really spent time to get to know me, to get to see me for me in my raw state, unadulterated, uncovered, unassisted. I had to embrace myself as I was, and I had to break certain parameters and certain rules of my beauty. But what was the consequence of that to my self-esteem? I got to embrace and to love myself a little bit more than I thought I could ever. Now, I know this might sound like gibberish to some people. Yeah, nice speech. But it is true. That's exactly what I experienced. I thought I was going to have a hard time with short hair and less than sleek, shiny hair. But I got to love it even more. I got to love myself. I got to love my hair and what it does and what it does best. And it only keeps getting better every day. It is the reality of the difference, of the change, the shock of it that makes you think your hair is ugly. No. It's your mindset. It's a drastic change to what you're used to. It's not ugly. I have seen ugly locks, I'll be honest. And ugly, in my opinion, not because of any particular thing with the locks, it's how you maintain it. Some locks are very neglected, and I will call a spade a spade. They're ugly because they're neglected. Having locks and believing that it's very low maintenance, yes, it's true. Low maintenance does not mean no maintenance. You have to maintain it. You have to keep it nice. You have to represent yourself well. But thinking you have to change this or run away from this is the way to beauty, I don't think so. I don't think so. Our hair is the most unique texture in the world. You cannot find this kind of hair texture not on any other human or race or even animal. Not one animal can say they share a similarity with the texture of our hair. Horses have straight, slick hair. Dogs have straight, slick hair or wavy or curly or bigger curls like, is it the poodles? I don't know, I'm terrible with animals names, so don't ask. Even gorillas, they don't have this texture. It's just us. Just us. And that was really an amazing thing for me to realize that day. And I would say my love and appreciation for our hair definitely went a little bit higher that day. So when I tell you that growing locks on my head brought a new kind of release and happiness and peace and pride and joy and confidence, I am not kidding. Because every time I go out into a room full of people, whether it's an event or whatever kind of gathering it is, and I know that this is all of me, this is my hair. When someone gives me a compliment, I am proud and happy and confident to accept that compliment because it really is my hair. As compared to when people compliment me for an extension that I put in my hair, it looks good on me. Thank you for the artwork. Yes. It's an art to put stuff together and look good even though it's not real. It's an art. But to get compliment for what I really am, it kind of touches different to the other times when I get compliments. This video is really long. I didn't plan it for it to be this way, but if there's anything I can tell you, and if you think you're going through an ugly stage in your locks right now, 2 advice for you. 1, take better care of your hair. And I'm not saying manipulate your hair to the point that you destroy the foundation of your locks. No, absolutely not. I'm saying give it the minimal due maintenance it requires and leave it alone. And then secondly, embrace your natural beauty. I know it's a different look to you, but the closer you look at yourself, the more you realize beauty truly can be raw. It doesn't have to be glossy. It doesn't have to be luster. It doesn't have to be long. Beauty can be beauty in its natural state. and that is what you are. That is what I am. That is what we are. Okay? Anyways, I gotta go. I'll see you in my next video, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked it, and I would really appreciate your subscription. I'll see you next time.